So hello students, in this video I am going to discuss of objective Indian National Congress. In previous video I have already discussed what is the formation of Indian National Congress and what was the scenario to build a Indian National Congress. So in this video listen very carefully everybody. The president of Indian National Congress state the objectives. So first president of Indian National Congress in 1885, he decided some other purpose of Indian National Congress. So first is the to promote friendship amongst people for every party of India who were sincerely devoted to the causes of nationalism. Actually, in previous time there was the many organization like as East India Association that was established by Dada Bhai Nauroji, okay, Pune Sarvajanik Sabha. So they was working in small areas, okay, they was working in small areas mean that they was not spreading nationalism in wider areas. So after that Indian National Congress formed, he decided to promote friendships, okay. So what is the meaning of promote friendship? Actually friendship it means we can to try assess the in-depth Indian person, that is common man of India, okay. So the nationalism of India it is the depend of the promote friendship. So next is to enhance and promote the feeling of unity among all Indians without distinction of caste, religion and reason. So actually in the time of 1980s 19 in the time of 1850s time, you can say the time of 19th century, there was the mainly critical problem the caste and religion. So this is not at all, caste and religion is also in at present trending, but it was most dominant in the time of 19th century. So he was trying to feeling of unity. What is the feeling of unity? So feeling was unity is the you are beyond caste and religion and reason. First everybody you are Indians, okay. So first is the objective Indian National Congress promote friendship, second was feeling of unity, okay. Now third is to formulate and deliberate on demands of Indians and to present them before the government. Actually, the time of before Indian National Congress, the any rules, any act that was directly implemented in the Indian society. After formation, the Indian National Congress, the leader of Indian National Congress, he decide and he demand to every rule, every policies will be implemented after observing some Indian leaders. So next is to create a public opinion in the country by the publicity and spread of information. So in the time of 18th century, there was no social media, there was no rule media, there was no the trending at like present media trends, only one magazines, only one printed media. So Congress leaders they want to create a opinion, and opinion was based the unity feeling that you are Indians. So this was the totally objectives of Indian National Congress in the time of 1885. So now let us here try to understand what was the demand of Indian National Congress. Okay. Now you revise this. In the previous time you have learned what was the objectives, okay. What was the meaning of objective is purpose, okay. What was the purpose, what was they want to do in the Indian societies, Okay, because India was facing critical condition, India was facing to exploitation, India was facing like as a unequal treated with the Britishers. So now demand of the Indian National Congress. Okay. So first was the to hold the Indian Civil Services examination in as well as increase the age limits. Okay. So this was the most important issue to increase as the limit of Indian Civil Services examination for appearing in the examination recruitment of Indians as the higher post. Actually, in India, the Britishers was implementing the discriminatory policy. So after discriminatory policy, the Lord Lytton has produced some other act. So there was the most popular act rules. It was the Indian Civil Services examination age limitation. It was 21 and it was reduced from make it 18 years. Okay. So here was one problem to increase the age limitation in the Indian civil services. And second was the higher post. Actually, the time of Britishers, any Indian cannot be eligible to take a higher post. Okay. For example, the Surendranath Banerjee, he passed the in 1886, 1868 time ICS Indian Civil Services examination, and he want to become a collector, but the causes of discriminatory policy he cannot to take designatory like a collector. He become after Queen Victoria's announcement and interfere of Queen Victoria's assistant collector in Assam state, the district of Sylhet. But also sometimes he was to eliminate by their assistants. So this was the discriminatory policy. Okay. So it was the first demand increase the age limit and higher post. Okay. So next is the freedom of speech and press as part of civil rights. Okay. So Indian National Congress has demand to civil rights. So what was the civil rights? In the at present intending Article 19, this is the civil right, special based on civil rights. Okay. Because without the Article 19, the civil rights is not possible. Okay. So next was the high revenue, reduce of the high revenue demand for the government. Actually, in these times, you have to know in the time of 1860s times, there was the most plagues and famines. But Britishers was to taking high revenue rates. Okay. So it was the next demand that reduce high revenue rates. Next is to increase the number of elect member in the legislative assembly, demand for wide power for the council and training in the self-governments. Okay. So actually the Indians want to the self-government. Okay. What was the self-government? So self-government's meaning is the India should be ruled by own people. Okay. For examples, you can look here. They want to elect member in legislative assembly. And what is the legislative assembly? Actually, legislative assembly is a constitutional body, is a institutes. He prepare act, he prepare rule by for the governance. Okay. So he want to elect member in the legislative assembly. And next demand was wider power of the councils. Okay. So what was the councils? And you can understand, you can try to understand in this present time. Here is the Prime Minister of India. Okay. Here is the Prime Minister of India, and he prepare a cabinet. Okay. It's called cabinet. So this is the cabinet. Okay, and you can say in the time of Britishers, this was the council. Okay, this was the council. So in this time, the Indians and Congress, Indian National Congress, want to some more member, more person add to this council. You can say here cabinet, and you they can use wider power. Okay, it means efficient power. Okay, and self government. So next is development of agriculture and modern industries. Actually, you are looking in this time the industries and agriculture. This is the lifeline of Indian economy. So it was the next demand of Indian National Congress. Next is the indigenization of the higher administrative services. Actually, in this time, there was only one some ethnic groups were able to administrative services. Okay, and there was the most dominant the European. Okay, so Indian want to also that they can participate in the civil services examination and they want to become a administrator. So this was indigenization. Next is the separation of judiciary and executive. Okay, so actually in these times there was another problem, judiciary and executives. What is the executives? So executive, it means implementives, institutionals, implementation organizations. Okay, so there was no difference between judiciary, okay, and executive. So separation was the next demand. And repeal arm acts. Students, in some time ago I have to read about the arm acts. Okay, because the arm acts was forbidding Indian carrying processing arm. That India, every Indians, they are not able to take any types arm with their security. Okay, so they repeal about Arms Act. This was the next demand. And next is abolition of salt tax. Okay, everybody in this time and those time the salt was very necessity for essential life. So this was the salt tax. Okay, and he also demanded that salt tax abolition. Next is the reduction in military expenditure. So in that time, military expenditure was increased, and this was taken from Indians persons, and there was using the Indian money. So Indian leaders take out and he start to advocacy to minimum military expenditure it want to become. Now let us come in the final next page. Thus the Congress started functioning as all Indian organization from 1885, which every most stated objectives. Okay, so it was the most objective of Indian National Congress. The early periods of the Indian National Congress, 1885 between 1905, it called the moderate phase on the Congress. So what is the moderate phase? Actually, the time between 1885 to 1905, it is time of moderate phase. Okay, so meaning of moderate phase is liberal ideology. Okay, an ideology that is not against the British rule, it called moderate phase. Okay, suppose that the time of these leaders, they want to maintain British rules, they have to loyalty British's crown, they have to believes that Britishers gradually redress their grievances. So okay, I hope everybody have understand moderate phase. Next is the moderate leaders try to create the national consequences and rise public opinion against the British imperialism. They created common platform for the national struggle. So actually, the purpose was also the moderate leaders, they want to prepare against British against opinion in Indian people. But it was not possible because in the next time in Indian society and Indian people have created the extremism. Okay? So in this video, now it is enough for today, and in next video I will discuss what was the reason of extremist. Okay? So thank you so much.